Hello there again, everyone. This is going to be Jund League number 91, and same list as before because A, it has been really, really good for me, and B, it's been really, really fun for me. So, good and fun, don't see really a reason to change. I'm just going to keep on getting more data and testing some matchups that hopefully we haven't seen before. So, all in all, just completely solid list in my opinion, and let's run it back. We see the current modern metagame in front of you. Heliod Company, I think probably one of the best decks in the format next to Blue Red Blitz. Heliod it was in first for quite a long time, but recently Blitz and Heliod switched in terms of what's more popular, and then Blue Red through the Breach Emrakul snuck in there in between Blitz and Heliod Company. So maybe this is a new, better deck. But that's the story of the top three, and then I'll scroll a little bit so y'all can see the rest of the top 15. It's 5/20/2021, and let's get into it. No extended intro today. Oh, that's right. MH2's spoilers are coming out today, right? I've seen the ones that they've already spoiled. Like I know Counterspell is a thing. I know there's something called Urza's Saga or something. That one looks pretty cool. I don't know much about anything else though. I know so like the fetches are getting reprinted again. That's not super surprising. Yeah, we got a keeper. This hand's gonna be great against a slow deck, but if we're playing in something like Prowess, we could have a hard time. Bone Crusher is looking nice here. If this were just any threat, we'd have a hand of no interaction, but Bone Crusher is helping us not draw the wrong half of our deck. This is on the slow side, but it's low end of keepable, I believe. We're just gonna hope to be playing against some kind of mid-ranger control deck. Alright, and it is Prowess. Alright, we might have a hard time if we don't find something early. That's no help. Let's play this tapped. So yeah, we're not very well equipped to beat them on this first game here. Bob not really a card. We're going to have to hope that they tap out here so maybe we can stomp something. Alright, well if they Stormwing on top of a Soul Scar, then it's going to be hard no matter what. What are we cutting for a play set of him? I don't think we play a set of it. We probably play 2 or 3. And I don't know what we would cut for it. It's one of those cards where it's going to be very good early, but only early. Wow, are they just trying to kill me here? Just push max damage? Put me to 7 on turn 2? Jeez. Well, hopefully this means they don't have more mutagenic growths to stop the stomp. This is one of those games that would have been much better if we had a 1-mana spell. Wow, yeah, they had a pretty good hand. I don't know that we would have won anyway, but still sucks not really competing, drawing 2 lands. If we can kill this Monastery Slow Spear and stabilize at 4, we're out of bolt range. We've got some threats. So if we can find a way to kill this now, then we could be in an okay spot. That doesn't exactly do it. If I feel like I need to fetch, I end up dying to any burn spell. Or I guess not any burn spell, but most burn spells. So I think what I'm going to do is just play the Bob here and intend on blocking. I don't think they're going to not attack, so they're going to attack. So I'll plan on blocking, just try to develop my mana, hopefully get my feet under me. Don't think I should go to 2. Alright, well, we are at 1 now, unless they've got any spell. And that counts. Turn 4 kill. Not bad. We killed one thing. We've got a pretty good sideboard for this, though. Just Fatal Push is going to be good. I've been liking the spell bombs for making their graveyard awkward. They do play things like Lava Dart. Some lists play the 1 mana deal 2 with Flashback. Let's for sure cut the Thoughtseizes, the Dark Confidants, and a couple of the Renin 6s, maybe just another one. I would like to cut some number of Kolaghan's commands. 3 mana is a lot of mana to not kill something with, because again, any prowess trigger would get it out of range. Buyback a creature mode on this almost never comes up. Is something better than this Kolaghan's command? I could just bring in another Renin 6, but this card doesn't kill anything. And the +1 isn't really conducive to the kinds of games that the opponent is trying to play. I don't think I'm bringing in Engineer to trade. It's a similar situation with Kolaghan's command where I'm spending 3 mana to probably not kill something. But I mean, nothing else is really looking much better than this Kolaghan's command. So maybe we just keep it because it could kill something. Do this. This matchup, I think, is probably slightly more than favorable, but losing game 1 sucks. Sounds great. We don't have anything to do on turn 1 again, but we've got lots of interaction afterwards. So this is likely to get probably Blood Crypt. So we're looking for lands or things that cost 1. There's a land. Cool. So I'm least likely to want to fetch a basic forest if I do end up fetching. So I think what's going to happen here is I will use the Verdant Catacombs first, because I'm not really wanting to fetch Basic Mountain. I'll probably end up fetching... I guess the next 2 lands are probably going to be some combination of Stomping Ground and Basic Swamp. Both of my lands get Basic Swamp, but Stomping Ground means that I have lots of red, so then maybe I could afford Basic Green. But there's, with Kroxa as my potential way to win, I really don't want to get Basic Forest. But I do think I should cast Brutality here. I could cast Bone Crusher now, because that means that next turn I'll have the option to just play a Bone Crusher without losing value. But generally my stance in this matchup is one of hard control, and then once I've pulled it ahead and hopefully stabilized at about 6 or 7 or more, then I can start deploying threats. So I'm not really wanting to set up to play a Bone Crusher next turn. I'd rather just continue killing stuff. So let's Brutality here. And I think I want a Brutality before Stomping, because then if we Brutality now, we can maybe stop a Stormwing from coming into play when we duress the opponent. So the plan is looking like Brutality, escalate once, discarding Kroxa. And then the discard... Oh, sorry, we were discarding Kroxa. I just don't know what we're fetching quite yet. I guess I mentioned that I want to get Basic Swamp. So I guess I can do that now off of the Bloodstained Mire. Or off of the Verdant. And then next turn, we can do another 2-mana removal spell. And fetch painlessly. That all seems fine. Should have used the Verdant, but... It's going to get a green source no matter what. So let's escalate this once. Target, opponent reveals their hand, and then -2/-2. And then if they Mutagenic Growth to save their thing, we have still used we still have forced them to use a Mutagenic Growth disfavorably, while taking 2 spells from their hand. We're doing pretty well now. Hem hum. Alright, so they've got the Sprite Dragon. So I think what I'm going to do here is use the Kolaghan's command to kill the Sprite Dragon. If they play a Stormwing entity, I may need double Stomp in order to kill it. So that means I'm not fetching painlessly now, and that I may eventually want to shock to get this Croxa in. Next, I can actually escape Croxa next turn once Kolaghan's command goes to the yard and I'm fetching. But I do want to use this Kolaghan's command to kill the Storming Sprite. We're just going to hope that they haven't drawn a Phyrexian spell. I guess it's only Mutagenic Growth. People have been playing more Mutagenic Growth than Gut Shots lately. So let's play this. And then what's second mode? I could get back Croxa, but then I'm not able to escape it next turn if I want. They've got lots of lands in hand, so them discarding a card really isn't great either. But I mean, I guess it really is the only good other mode. So I want to escape. I want to have the option to escape Croxa next turn. So we'll just have them discard a mountain, shoot their thing. And then hope they haven't found exactly Mutagenic Growth. It looks like they have not. Alright, so if they find a 1-mana spell or whatever to put Stormwing into play, I can double stomp it, but otherwise I can just escape a Croxa and start going to town. Yeah, and if they have a Vapor Snag, they still can't play Stormwing because they would need double blue for that. I think I'm okay going to 13 if it means I can get Croxa into play. So let's get, I guess, Stomping Ground. I could just not get a green source, but I think I still want to have access to my green spells. A snag would be annoying, but we've got Bone Crushers. We're pretty far from escaping this again, so having backup threats that are also removal is feeling pretty nice. I imagine they're ditching a mountain here and losing 3. They ditched a Stormwing, wow. Okay. I guess they figure if they play a spell and then play a Stormwing, they're probably just losing to their Croxa, so they have to figure something else out. Or they just have another Stormwing, which is completely possible. And Lava Dart is pretty annoying, because if they play Stormwing, they can save it from getting bolted, but then Bone Crusher just finishes it off anyway. Alright, game 3. I think I'm keeping it the same. The more expensive, less damage removal gets a lot worse on the draw. It was never very good on the play, but it's worse now. So I am nervous about it. Yeah, I mean, I think Kolaghan's Command's probably still going to be better than something like Plague Engineer. Maybe that's not even true, though. Plague Engineer does have a nice little side effect of we can name whatever Stormwing Sprite is, and then that can get it in range of the Stomp from Bone Crusher, but that seems like it's gonna not come up. It seems like it's less likely to come up than just having Kolaghan's Command be fine. Let's resubmit and hope we don't get run over. I think I'm gonna mulligan aggressively at least once for a hand with a couple of 1-mana plays. Ideally, we just have one to begin with. Alright, well, Spellbomb was not exactly what I had in mind. They've mulliganed to 6. I think I have to mulligan as well. Renin 6 is nice, but doesn't kill anything. We do have Stomp to hopefully kill the first thing, but it might not even kill the first thing. And if they've got more than one creature, we just get run over. And the odds they have more than one creature are not super low. Let's ship it. Yikes. Well, this is better. We've got double Fatal Push. We've also got Stomp, assuming we hit a land. We're on the draw. Let's keep bottom the Bloodbraid, because it's expensive. Keep everything that can kill a thing and our good threat. And then we'll just hope to see a land in our top 2. We know it lands on the bottom, so as far as the first draw goes, we're 23 and 53 to hit it. Come on, don't make me sweat. That works. Lead on the mire, say go. Probably the worst land we could have drawn, but I'm happy to have just found a land. We're looking okay here. Mulligan to 6 and no 1-drop is pretty good news for us. Violet, yep. Alright, if the opponent's got turn 2 Stormwing, that could be a way that we lose. But they don't, okay. Okay. So what I think I'm doing here is fetching, shocking, and killing Swift Spear. I could kill Soul Scar Mage and then plan on playing Tarmogoyf on my turn 2. Because that could stonewall the second creature. Because like if they've got a bolt or something, they could bolt the Tarmogoyf, which would be bad for me. But I think like I said before, I want to play this like I'm a control deck. So I'm gonna try to kill all of their things before deploying creatures of my own. So I'll push this and then attempt to stomp the Soul Scar, hoping they don't have Mutagenic. And that's a good draw. If they've got Mutagenic Growth, I think I'm okay if they use it on their own turn here. Next turn we can push plus Tarmogoyf. And if they only play one creature here, we can Liliana it. I think I'm actually still wanting to lean towards push plus Goyf. Another push is good. But like the reason was that we were still kind of soft to Stormwing Entity, and Liliana is a way for us to beat said Stormwing. So I think I actually kind of like deploying Tarmogoyf. There's an argument to pushing now if the opponent is playing something like Spell Pierce or Vapor Snag, and I think that's actually a big enough reason to just do this right here, right now. I don't want them trading a Spell Pierce for basically free when I could very easily avoid it. Spell Pierce could still just get the Liliana. Relic is annoying Tarmogoyf-wise, but this Bone Crusher isn't affected by it. What did they just do? Oh, they just played it tapped. I thought they tapped it for something. It's like, did they put a Rift Bolt on suspend? But no. Alright. It's Bone Crusher time. And I can fetch right now so I can attack for 1. That means I'm putting down Fatal Push, which is, I think, fine. Let's get second red. I guess more green. We don't need more black. Actually, we could benefit from more black. We could Liliana and hold up a Fatal Push. So more black actually seems good. If we get Overgrown Tomb, it means we're not getting second red. We only need second red for Escaping Kroxa, though. And we've got triple black just in hand. So let's get the Tomb. What's up, Udak? So, looking good here, but not out of the woods yet. Expressive iterations are still bad for us, but as far as we're the worst thing that could happen, I'd be okay with expressive iterations. That's not great for us either. Like, we're ahead on board, so if they're cantripping while we're ahead on board, I feel like that's just upside for us. That said, I would have loved if the Goyf could have stuck around for a little while longer. Alright, we might just be on empty. We're going to need to find another threat. Them using threats on us is at least a good sign. They've got 1 card remaining. Let's Liliana and plus discard Blackleaf Cliffs. They've only got 1 card in hand, so they can't like play a Stormwing and something to neutralize our Liliana. Liliana's just gonna be good. If double Lava Dart. What's up, Element? How's it going? Sprite. Alright, well if they attack Liliana, I'll push it. I'm gonna be wanting to activate I'm gonna be wanting to activate Liliana anyway. And I think they're probably gonna try Lava Darting. So Liliana doesn't die to just this. They probably won't hit it again, though. Like, they just want to get it out of ultimate range. Or, sorry, edict range. There they go. They've conceded. Want to note. Thanks, Element. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I don't start because I haven't been interning there for a while. I start in like a week or two. So as a Florida native, am I ready for the Toronto Maple Leafs to start their playoff run? I don't follow NHL very much. I was a big ice hockey fan when I was little. I played ice hockey for a little while. Was never very good. Hey, we won the die roll. Well, this is a weird hand, but it's a good one. We've got 3 ways to interact in the Dark Confidant. Any green mana means we get to get our Ren and 6 going. Uh-oh. That's no bueno. We did hit the mana. Not in the way we were hoping. So this matchup is pretty poor. Or are they going to have the Tron by turn 3 as well? Alright, well, unless they have it naturally, they don't have it. We revealed Bolt and found a Tarmogoyf. Alright, well, I mean, I'm going to apply as much pressure as I can as quickly as I can. I believe that involves playing Tarmogoyf, playing my land. I actually can't play Tarmogoyf, I have black-red. Pretty awkward. Can't even play a Bone Crusher here. I guess I am attacking for 2 and stomping the opponent. Not ideal. If they don't have the Tron, then maybe we... Oh, they don't have the Tron. Then maybe we can pull ahead somehow. They must have just drawn that scrying, because they would have been able to cast it last turn. Tron is why you stopped playing Jund. Well, you couldn't escape it watching streams either. We're going to try to burn him out, I think, is going to be our best realistic route to victory. We revealed Verdant. That's not bad. That means we can double spell here. I can both play Tarmogoyf and Ren and 6. It'll be unfortunate if they've got some kind of sweeper like Ugin or O-Stone, but I don't really have the ability to play around that kind of stuff anyway. And I do have a good amount of burn in hand, so any attacks that I can push through are going to be good. They've got so many cards in hand, I doubt Liliana's working towards ultimate this game. I think I'm just going to apply as much pressure as I possibly can, and then hope the burn finishes and gets us over the cross line. So let's get, I guess, more red, more black, Blood Crypt. I may want a green source to activate Ravine to do additional damage, but I need a land anyway. So let's get Blood Crypt. Say yes. Oh, I'm stupid. I can only play one green thing. No, yeah, I needed to get Stomping Ground or Overgrown Tomb. Oops. I'm gonna go if hold up double bolt. That could matter. So they're gonna go to 14 here. I was literally just gonna use the run in 6 to minus on their face, and then if I got to the point where I couldn't tap with it, I was gonna plus. So we've got 8 points of direct damage. So if they don't sweep us here, we might be okay. No Ugin, please. Ugin. Alright, they -2 this, right? We could stomp it and bolt it. It's not ideal. Well, I guess now I'm happy I didn't play Ren in 6. So we actually have interesting decisions, though. Because, like, we can shoot them for 8 in hand. We've got a Ravine in play. We just need to find 2 more points. I think I'm going upstairs. Gonna try to burn him out. Hit untapped land. Let's get in with the Ravine while we can get in with the Ravine. Alright, we're on the burn strategy. They're at 8, we've got double bolt. We should put Gaddock Teague in the board. You have a good feeling about it? Makes sense to me. Alright, so we want to avoid Worm Coil here. We want to avoid ways that they can gain life, because we need to be able to do the last few points of reach. Another tower, jeez. What is this? You got Ulamog? Emrakul? Well, that's gonna make it a lot harder. So now we can't bolt them anymore. They're just gonna bolt ourselves with all of our mana. Okay. Well, we had a plan until they mind-slavered us. It's funny, literally any other payoff I think we could have beaten. Even Ulamog, there was a chance. Alright, Wildfire for sure. Pillage for sure. Damping Sphere for sure. Ashiok's gotta be better than something. That something is Fatal Push. Terminate. Ren in 6 doesn't do much of anything either. Yeah, damn Emrakul. I haven't seen that Emrakul played in a hot minute. We are running... Yeah, we are playing green today. We're just missing a different color. I think I'm going to run this. Sure. I would love to go first with a keeper. We're missing fast early pressure, but I mean turn 1 Thoughtseize into Liliana is going to be a pretty good loadout. Especially if they're mulliganing. They did once. Would love to draw a way to disrupt their mana. So they've got only a tower, but they have map, Karn, Sylvan Scrying. Let's take the map. Unfortunately, they still have something to do on their first turn. – another Bone Crusher. Not super ideal. I may need the stomps to threaten the Karn. Did you find the Tron land? Hopefully not. Or if you did, hopefully it's a tower. Found a mine. Another star. Alright, so they can get Tron assembled next turn with the scrying, but they only have 2 mana after they assemble it. Liliana time. We'll ditch a Bone Crusher, so that way next turn we'll have the guaranteed land into Bloodbraid. If they somehow complete Tron off of the top, and they minus the Karn, we can maybe at least Bloodbraid it to finish it off. But they're going to get something big if they hit the Tron, which we just might not be able to beat after the fact. Another Liliana. I think I'm discarding that. There's an argument to keeping the Liliana because maybe we can snipe the last card out of their hand. But I think I want the Bone Crusher as additional pressure to this Bloodbraid. And I want the land for the Bloodbraid. So I guess what I could do is I could Bloodbraid first. Because if I hit... I guess even if I hit a way to disrupt their mana, that doesn't actually impact what I'm doing right here, right now. So I want them to discard without the information. So I still think I'm supposed to do this first, and then I will just ditch the other Liliana. They ditch a mine. Okay. Bloodbraid time. We're really, really hoping for a way to disrupt their mana. Even Thoughtseize would be good. Ashiok. Better than nothing. They've already got the Tron assembled, unfortunately. At least they can't do any future searching. They can still search their sideboard. And I see no reason to activate this Ashiok. We could minus on ourselves in order to try to find a Kroxa. Well, I guess I'm glad I've got the Bone Crusher as additional pressure. Most of their payoffs are going to be pretty difficult to beat, though. Like, even if we are able to defeat this Karn, we're still going to have a hard time beating whatever the first activation gets. Needle? Sure. So I'm assuming they're naming Liliana here. Yep. Come on, deck. Bob is good. We can stomp the Karn to keep them off another activation and play Dark Confidant. And then hopefully by then Bob is able to attack and kill the Karn. Still needing to dodge payoffs off of the top. They might just have one already, which would be unfortunate. You're saying Ashiok self. Yeah, we do need to find additional pressure. So at this point, it's probably fine to Ashiok ourselves. I still think we have to make this stomp play, even if we hit a Croxa. So doing it last turn, I don't think does much of anything. But doing it this turn is good, I think. We milled some good stuff, though. Obviously not gonna... We're not gonna not mill ourselves out of fear of hitting good stuff. You got another Dismember? Jeez. This is a card that I'm pretty sure you should not be playing against Jund. It just doesn't do a lot. Like, it gets rid of only Bob. I guess you can counter a Thoughtseize. I mean, there's also an argument to just minusing Ashiok on myself from the first turn because I didn't hit it here, but maybe it's in the next 4 cards, and then the second activation would have hit those 4. So I maybe should have done it. But we're on empty now. I guess not true. We've got Bone Crusher. All right, backup card. Never mind. And 5 mana to boot. Mystic Forge. Jeez. I mean, this gives us a window to draw Kolagon's Command. Right? I guess that doesn't even do a whole lot. We get to kill this, and I guess Shock Karn, keep it off. So, I mean, if we can draw Kolagon's Command, they brick, and we draw something off of Kolagon's Command, then we could be okay. Like, K-Command, kill this, get back Bloodbraid, or we just draw Bloodbraid. Alright. Can this hit Kolagon's Command? That would be the nuts. We can kill Karn now. Right, well, that does it too, I guess. They are empty-handed, but Mystic Forge with infinite mana is going to be hard to beat. We have to hope they just have land stacked on top. Which is not impossible, but unlikely. Well, they immediately hit something. Trying to figure out how to efficiently tap for your Ugin. Exiled Emrakul. I guess they thought they could cast Emrakul, but they can't. They didn't have anything and we drew Pillage? We're cooking with gas now. It's like I almost want to just disassemble the Tron now, because Mystic Forge with 3 mana in play is a lot less scary than just them drawing off of the top. And then we're supposed to destroy the mine, right? Because if they have to tap lands to find the Tron land, then we're going to want them to tap the tower so they have less mana. We're in it all of a sudden. I guess they can't actually search because of the Ashiok. They just have to draw it. Alright, I mean, Pillage kept us in it. Pretty nice that this was the Pillage as opposed to the Wildfire, too, because Wildfire, they'd get another mana, and then they could continue maybe casting stuff. But that was a good draw. Alternatively, I could have Pillaged... Oh, they just drew them on. Of course. And they drew Stone. Alright, well, we got lucky, and then, of course, they ripped it. Into the O-Stone of all things. Can we do it again? They didn't play the thing off of the top, and they didn't activate Mystic Forge. I guess they're just planning on Oblivion Stoning. Well, they've given me a window to maybe find a Croxa. We did not hit it. Milled the Damping Sphere, though. So I'm assuming they're going to blow our stuff up, to which we'll play Bone Crusher. Ashiok does not stop the searching from Wildfire. Ashiok only stops searching from effects that opponents control, and we would control the Cleansing Wildfire. Alright, so them not popping this means I can't play Bone Crusher yet. We're not out of it yet. We could just draw running burn spells. They still have to find stuff off the top, but Tron's pretty good at that, right? I feel like whenever it comes down to a 50-50 guess on which Tron land you should hit, I always guess wrong. I'm pretty good at that. And I think they have to pop the O-Stone before they let my Bloodbraid connect again. Because then they're dead to any one burn spell, right? They're giving me another window to find a Croxa. Maybe I should fetch first just to put one less card in the deck that isn't Croxa. Sure, why not? I doubt they're gonna respond with the Oblivion Stone here. We hit a Croxa. There's 4 copies of it. Sorry, 2 copies of it. Milled a Wildfire, though. That's brutal. Playing the land may actually even be a mistake, because now they don't have to pop the Oblivion Stone. Because they don't have to fear it anymore. Alright, well I guess they're doing it. Bone Crusher. It was some classic Tron BS, pretty much. I'm doing all that I can. Alright, well they didn't like their top card. Bone Crusher is now a one-hit kill. Sphere doesn't do it. That's a redraw. And clears the Mystic Forge. Oh god. They've got 7 mana remaining. If you can somehow brick on this, we could win. It'd be a sweet win after the opponent just ripped. Darn. I do not count that as a brick, unfortunately. And this only triggers on spells, right? So they can minus on the Bone Crusher and it'll work. Oh, they just have Worm Coil too? Dece. I mean, Liliana can Edict the Worm Coil, but they still just have the stuff left over, and then we're still facing down a Karn. I guess I need them to not gain 6. So I'll make it so they only gain 3. Yeah, had I made my 50-50 no information guess correctly, I think we may have had a good shot at winning this game, but the opponent just ripped it off the top in classic Tron fashion. The eternal Jund struggle. Because they weren't winning by enough, the opponent gets Sanctum Muvugen. What do we need to happen here? So there's one line that gets us there. We need to draw our last copy of Bloodbraid. Oh, never mind. There's already 3 in the yard. I was gonna say we could draw Bloodbraid. Block and kill the lifelinker here. Attack, cast the Bloodbraid, hit Kolaghan's command, kill the other worm, and then attack for lethal. But them getting rid of the 4/3 makes that impossible. I guess still technically, it would have still technically been possible if there was a Bloodbraid in the deck. Kolaghan's command is too late now too because we've got 6 mana. We don't have enough to do it all. Tron done the Tron thing. I would say I feel like I got robbed, but we're not supposed to win that. That said, we got lucky enough to draw the pillage, but then they got lucky enough to rip the exact Tron land that I guessed wrong on. Feels bad. Yeah, no Croaks was also kind of unfortunate. And again, maybe that comes down to there was a turn where I didn't mill with Ashiok, and maybe it was in the next 4, you know? Yep, sad indeed. Need to have a sit down with Bob and ask him why it's Inquisition on the top there. We didn't have a Bob in play. It's not his fault. Bob looked very, very good that first game, though, where we had the burn plan. We would not have access to that burn plan had we not had Bone Crusher in the deck, though. Like we were very close. We were 2 off. So like literally any other burn spell off the top would have gotten across the finish line. We had Ren and 6 in hand too, so we could have played Ren and 6, ping them down to 1, and then they have to answer the Ren and 6 immediately, or they do just die. How much Tron do we see online? Mono green Tron, not a lot, but there's a fair amount of Eldrazi Tron, especially right now. We're playing against Lurrus with this hand. This is definitely Mulligan versus Lurrus on the draw. We don't have a way to interact before 3 mana, and even when we do, it's 2 damage. This is better. We'll keep, and I guess bottom the Forgotten Cave. We're gonna want the Ren and 6 to buy back lands anyway. Looks like Prowess again. Maybe Shadow. No, 1-drop is peculiar. Ooh, Thoughtseize is a good one. So the thing is, I think I actually have to Lightning Axe myself here, because I can't get basic Swamp and cast Ren and 6 off of it, but I do want to cast this Thoughtseize. So I guess that means I'm Lightning Axing myself, right? Lava Axe is the word, right? We want black for sure. Blood Crypt. Interesting that they're fetching in response. They can no longer execute the Mishra's Bauble trick. So they want to like Stubborn Denial this? Or they Shadow? Alright, so it's Shadow. I guess I'm not needing to Lightning Axe myself. Our hand's pretty good versus Shadow. Could still be 4-color, but I guess more likely Grixis. Could still be Grixis. No, it can't be Grixis control, right? Because they're playing Stubborn Denial. Alright, it's looking like we're going to get to just Ren and 6 this thing. I don't think they play anything like Mutagenic Growth. Hopefully our Ren and 6 gets to live to get a land back, because having drawn 2nd copy of Bloodbraid, our next land's going to be pretty important. Yeah, nice of them to save us the life there. That's true. So we're hoping for no second copy of Sprite Dragon plus spell. I'm going to assume they don't have another bobble because they would have played it last turn to grow Sprite Dragon to hit for an additional, right? It is another Sprite Dragon? Okay, Iteration. Iteration's bad too, in that it's just a multi for one. Interesting, though, that they played their land first. That was probably a misstep. Hard times for Jund in the form. I think Jund's probably just fine right now. And I try to say that with as little as bias as possible. But like just because you run into a Tron deck once every 20-something matches doesn't mean you shouldn't play it. Like, play a deck. Like, just because a deck has one really bad matchup doesn't mean that's the sole reason why you shouldn't be playing it, right? Alright, well, our hand's pretty bulletproof. We're gonna have to set up the game such that we don't just immediately die to Aluris, but I think we're in an okay spot to do that. Go. Alright, and then next turn we're gonna start hopefully chaining Bloodbraid. Pull ahead that way. We can terminate that to keep our Renin 6 high. I think it's probably worth it. Thoughtseize. Yeah, I think I'm going to kill this. It's going to get big enough, quick enough. And I want my Renin 6 to stay alive. If we find any cycling land, it'll be pretty valuable. So we'll get Overgrown Tomb for second green, just more black. Also, it's our only duel. Lands are not what we want to see. They know about the swamp, so it's pretty free to play it now. Maybe I can avoid losing a lot of life. Ooh, Bone Crusher. Let's just play that as a 4/3. We would be able to stomp if we wanted to, but I think just getting another threat into play is probably good. And they've just conceded. So yeah, because we get to attack for 3, put them to 6 here. Then next turn we can attack, put them to 3 again. They died to a lot of stuff off the top, but they've got to have a pretty bad hand to be conceding in that spot. So they're probably playing some number of Snapcasters. They're definitely playing Luris. Let's bring in at least 2 Spellbomb. And these are the only 3 things I'm excited about bringing in. I could bring in Kalidas. It'll be pretty good assuming they don't just immediately kill it. The problem with something like Kalidas is we're going to spend 4 mana on it every time, and then pretty often they can kill it for only 1 or 2 mana, so we lose a little bit of tempo. But if we can get it to survive, it's going to be hard to lose. So, I mean, maybe it's worth it. And then maybe 3rd Spellbomb is worth it as well. We'll see how much we want to take out. I'm going to cut a Renin 6 for sure. And then I think I'm cutting the discard spells. I just really don't want to be drawing these. Maybe 1 is fine just because it's probably better than Renin 6. Renin 6 is probably just fine though. Double spelling is a way we can maybe overwhelm the opponent. And there's some value to maybe having Renin 6 in one of our cycling lands. The stream is buggy for you. Yeah, I am dropping, it looks like 35% of my frames. I don't know why that is. I think my connection is just getting shafted right now. My download speed is great, but my upload is at like 2 megabits per second. Magic and Twitch is going Modern Horizons spoilers soon. Yeah, I heard about that. I'll catch up on them later. I'm not really super attached to knowing as soon as they're available, right? Like, it's not going to change anything. Grixis Shadow. I think I'm keeping this. We've got 2 pieces of interaction and 2 threats. Inquisition or Thoughtseize can knock that down to 1 apiece, but mulliganing in this matchup feels pretty terrible. Also, one of our lands cycle. Unless him gets confirmed. If him gets confirmed, I'll be excited. I don't think it's gonna be a 4 of it. It's another one of those cards where it's really bad late game but fantastic early game. So I mean, it doesn't change a lot. We might just straight not play it, which sounds crazy. I don't see myself wanting to bolt anything here, so I'll just get the Ravine down. Because, like, targeting something is pretty powerful, but I mean, so is hitting a land out of their hand, right? Spray it. Alright, well, I guess we're just gonna bolt this. This is one of the only threats that Bolt actually gets to deal with cleanly. Having found the second bolt makes me more comfortable doing this. Also, there's something to be said about keeping the board empty, so that way Liliana can achieve its maximum goodness. So, for sure gonna get a black source with this, so I can have double black for the Liliana. And then I guess it's gonna be Blood Crypt. If they play something like a Sprite Dragon, or really anything that I can bolt, I think I'm for sure just bolting it to Liliana onto an empty board. Liliana-ing to Edict onto an empty board. To Edict onto an empty board is less good now that Sprite Dragon exists, just because like it can get hasted down, and another Edict isn't necessarily guaranteed. I could fetch Shock right now in order to cycle the Forgotten Cave, but then Bolt is out of range of killing the Skyclave thing. I mean, I'm gonna have plenty of time to cycle, so I think I'm just gonna get this Blood Crypt tapped, Liliana plus, and I think I'm just gonna discard that Verdant. Think I'll keep the Forgotten Cave for cycling purposes. Land drops are going to be at least a little relevant because we do have Raging Ravine. There's the Scourge that we were worried about. Had I fetched Shocked, they could have played this as a 4/4, and then I have to Edict to kill it. But now I can save the Edict for something else, hopefully, assuming they don't like haste it down with something. Another iteration. Okay. They iterationed last turn and did not find a land, so I'm assuming they're just really digging for it. This looks green. At least to me, like when it's small. Alright, so I guess there goes Dark Confidant. Right? If they're thought seizing here. There's only Shadow that they could play, because there's no Gurmag Angler in a Luris deck. I think the card that I'm hoping for in Modern Horizons the most is Swords to Plowshares. I think like really efficient answers are definitely a lot safer than really efficient threats. They took the Bolt. That just might indicate they've got an answer for the Bob, which would make sense. Ooh. Well, I definitely want to keep plussing the Liliana. So what I think I'm going to do is cycle the Forgotten Cave, then plus the Liliana, and then probably just play the Bob. I mean, it's likely they have an answer for the Bob, given that they didn't take it, but I'm still going to make them do it, because if they're answering Bob, they're not committing mana towards getting ahead of this Liliana. Jaspa, thank you for the follow, I appreciate the support. Yeah, so let's cycle this first. Oops. Cycle my Dark Confidant. They're going to reprint Dark Confidant. It's going to be the exact same thing, but it's going to have cycling. Alright, and then I could just discard the Kalitas and play the lands, that way the Liliana becomes asymmetrical, but I think I still want to ditch the land, because if I hit untapped land next turn and I can go untapped land, Kalitas, then plus Liliana, that's going to feel really, really strong. We're not ahead yet. The opponent could very easily play 2 threats here, and that could be sticky, but having Liliana in play When you play Kalitas is even stronger, right? Because you just immediately exile something and get a zombie. So that could be fun. This is like Luris to hand or something. They can't play Liliana. They're companioning Luris. Kolaghan's Command, brutal. Buy back something. Untapped land, please. Cool. So they're gonna have to kill this. I think their only good way to do it is probably Fatal Push. But they're missing on lands, they need to Revolt as well. So they have to have already had the Fatal Push and draw a fetch land. And they scoop to the Kalitas, sick. Alright, next. New, what was the round 1 matchup? It was Is It Prowess. We lost game 1. We kept a slowish, low interactive hand on the draw versus an unknown opponent, and then we got run over by like a triple 1-mana creature draw. But games 2 and 3 we got there. I'm gonna grab some water and be right back. Oy. Let's go first. On the play, this hand's fine. We don't have a lot of interactive stuff, but being on the play makes it better. Lots of threats. We're playing against anything slow and grindy. This hand's excellent. If we're playing against a faster deck, it's a bit shakier. This will get Stomping Ground, I believe. Esper's getting a pretty great looking new walker. That's cool. Blood Crypt. Tapped. Alright, well, this hand's looking really good versus Blood Crypt tapped go. I guess pretty likely the opponent is playing Lightning Bolt. If I play Tarmogoyf now, it could get bolted. But it's hard to just not to play my spells, right? Let's play the Goyf. And besides, if they spend their turn bolting this, we get to Liliana and immediately start plussing, which also seems fine. Is it a mirror? Okay. We knew this could happen. Forgotten Cave is a 4th land, but it's still probably best to just get a Liliana plussing here. And then not entirely clear what I want to discard. I think it might just be the Forgotten Cave. Every other card in our hand is likely to have a good amount of value versus what the opponent is doing. We can't play Bloodbraid next turn off of Forgotten Cave anyway, so let's just ditch that. Next turn, our already good play is 3 mana. Yep. This hand is set up to be pretty good versus Rakdos midrange, but Kroxa is going to be very good. They missed a land. That's good for us. We hit a land, but it's a tap land. I think I'm okay just discarding second copy of Liliana now, and then we can play Blackleaf Glyphs tapped for Bloodbraid next turn, and then we can this turn Kolaghan's Command at the opponent's end step. So we'll plus this, discard backup Liliana. Backup Liliana is our only good way to kill, I guess, any creature. But the rest of our hand, I think, is too good to pass up. And it is a mirror. Wow. All right, so our hand looks good. We're not out of the woods yet, but we're looking good. And then, given that it is a mirror, resources definitely matter. So I think second mode on this is probably going to be you discard a card. Shocking them, I don't think, is going to be super effective. So you'll discard a card, which is feeding their Croxa, but they're 2 lands off of it. So we'll return Tarmogoyf and have you discard. So return Tarmogoyf, you'll discard a card. Yeah, we're not fearing Blood Moon. Junmir is really fun. I feel like the earlier turns are more experience oriented, whereas later on it can become really a game of who draws better. But until we get to that point, the matchup's really fun. So the classic Jund's dilemma, hand too good. That's not a Jund dilemma. I think I'm just discarding the Tarmogoyf again, and then just playing Bloodbreed. I would like to get this Liliana up to ultimate range. Funny thing is, if this Liliana gets to ultimate range and they brick on a land again, I might just ultimate them to hit a land. It's pretty enticing to just cast Bloodbraid here, because Bloodbraid can hit another threat and just put us really far ahead. But then we're ditching Tarmogoyf, but then we just have Kolaghan's Command, so I think we're gonna Bloodbraid. Another thing is, if we hit untapped land next turn, we get to just deploy our entire hand and then have Liliana be asymmetrical if we decide not to emblem, or I guess ultimate. So we'll plus ditch Goyf. Yeah, -6 for 1 land is a little underwhelming. Ditch the Goyf. They ditch to Terminate, which is a spell they can cast. So I'm assuming the rest of their hand is castables. We would really like to hit another threat. That's a good one. Well, we'll probably just do that next turn now. Unless they're playing a spicy Cling to Dust. There goes a Ren and 6. Their hand was very good, assuming they hit the land. So they're just a little unlucky, I think. We also had a very good hand, to be fair. They found it. What you got? Interesting they got Basic Forest, because that doesn't actually escape the Croxa. Sure. See, Trophy is bad here, because like now I get to Kolaghan's back at Tarmogoyf and play a Tarmogoyf immediately. Or I could just escape my Croxa, which I'm probably still just going to do. Honestly, though, the cards in my hand are a lot less safe than the cards in play, or in the yard, because we're assuming the opponent is playing discard, so I think it's probably just better to get back the Goyf and play that. Still going to attack first. And then I'll have the opponent discard, I'll get back Tarmogoyf. Yeah, I think getting this land was a mistake from the opponent. Alright, and we've got Croxa ready to go. And they don't, because they've got basic forest. Yep, and Fatal Push makes the not Croxa play look better. I guess if they find Liliana here and then draw Hot, they could potentially come back. Like, if they drew Liliana to Edict this, and then we cast Croxa, and then they found a way to kill Croxa and get Liliana charged back up, and we brick on relevant action, that's a world where we can start falling behind, but it does not look like that's going to be happening. I'll leave the Forgotten Cave for Renin 6. We already used both Kolagon's commands. It doesn't matter. So we put them to 7 here. I guess if opponent finds a way to escape their Croxa, they block our Croxa, but not after the trigger. So they would go to 1, and then they could re-escape their Croxa maybe. So yeah, we're not out of it yet. We're definitely ahead. They'd maybe be in this game had this not been a forest. Alright, so they're just dead on board now. We just have to attack all. Whichever they block, the other's getting through, and the Striggers. Speaking of cards that are good in the matchup, how about Bone Crusher? The Stomp doesn't kill a lot, but it'll be relevant for trading, for like probably killing a Goyf at some point. Watch, I'm going to draw Push just at Insult to Injury. Alright, well, whatever. Sick. Alright, Jund, Mirror, Kalidas, Fatal Push, Nile Spellbomb. I like the Ashiox because it can get rid of their Croxas while finding and or fueling our own. And that feels pretty big. Taking out all of the discard as quickly as possible. I'm going to trim on the bolts because they don't kill a lot. I might just trim another bolt, to be honest. The pushes are nice because they always kill a Tarmogoyf, whereas bolts don't. Yeah, I think I might just cut another bolt. Doesn't kill a lot. It's good for finishing off Planeswalkers, but that's about it. Possible new addition for Jund. 2 black. It's a 3/2 with Menace. It's got ETB, Thoughtseize, Evoke, exile a black card from your hand. With no mana? Is it better than BBE? No, I don't think so. Because like the strength of BBE is that it's a really good card off of the top or in the late game, and the Thoughtseize off of the top in the late game is just terrible. Sounds good. You've usually kept 2 discard in since the printing of Ren. I'm gonna have to hard disagree there, because like it's only good on turn 1, you know, and like the like discard is gonna be fine on turn 1 through 3 most of the time, but the whole issue with discard is that it's bad after turn like 3 or 4. They have mulligans. Mulligans are pretty brutal in mirrors, so I'm pretty happy that they have. Another land, not exactly what we're hoping to see. But we've got Renin 6 on 2, Liliana on 3. They could also have a similar draw. It'll be interesting if the opponent casts a Ren and 6 here. Maybe I want to pop the Spell Bomb just to get rid of the Mire. Kind of think I do. In the chance that this is their only other lands, this could just be very good. And either way, like if I'm spending the time to draw a card off of this is effectively drawing a card. Instead of us being up a card, they're down a card. So like the net number of resources we have access to is the same. And I could play Tarmogoyf here to threaten the Bone Crusher. Sorry, to drew Bone Crusher, my brain went Bone Crusher. I could play Tarmogoyf here to threaten the Ren and 6, but that is a much weaker play versus literally any removal spell, especially Liliana. And I'll get Stomping Ground here because if I'm gonna fetch a basic, it's most likely gonna want to be basic Swamp. Ren and 6 fight. How does a suspend to Demonic Tutor sound with BBE? Probably still not great. Because, like, the turn you're playing the Bloodbraid Elf, you're trying to multi-spell to actually pull ahead. I mean, if you've got lots of lands available to you and you Demonic Tutor and are able to cast it, and cast the thing that you're playing immediately, then sure. Alright, so this is why we didn't cast Tarmogoyf. Alright, they know about a Verdant, so we'll ditch a Verdant. They discarded a Goyf. That's good news for us. Yeah, and we got rewarded for using the Spell Bomb. The opponent was forced to discard an actual spell. So now I could just get Liliana of my own going. Any one creature is still going to be pretty weak versus the Liliana. The issue is like the opponent's planeswalkers are going to go off before mine do. I can use the Stomp to maybe offset that. I mean, the Ren and 6 emblem really doesn't do a whole lot as long as they don't have any relevant spells in the yard. And even if they find one or two, we have the Spell Bomb to start breaking it up. How about Force of Thoughtseize, though? No, that's bad as well, I think. Is it basically just like, what was it? Unmask is the card. All right, let's return Verdant. A little sticky to be playing this now because if the opponent has land into Bloodbraid, that could be unfortunate. They've only got 2 cards left. They don't have any more lands, but also they probably would have just discarded it given they could immediately buy it back. They made a Merfolk that's a Rishadan port. Yeah, I don't have the card bot enabled. I don't know how to do that. I've been wanting to do it, but I've never gotten around to figuring out how it's actually done. Yeah, Force of Thoughtseize seems like it could be very good in like Legacy, in a few Legacy combo decks. Maybe it's a Storm card. Who knows? What is it, like pitch a black card or something? They've won the match. – 3-1, losing to Tron. Classic. Gonna turn on the Magic the Gathering Twitch stream. We got a good number of viewers, which is nice.
I think the sketchy web.
Alright. A port that dies to literally everything. All I see is everyone being super excited about the dog moving. Dies to run in 6. Ugh. We've got 1 land, but 3 things that it casts. We're on the draw. If we find any land, we've got double Tarmogoyf. This hand is pretty painful. It's looking like we have to get Blood Crypt. I think it is a keep. It's a risk, but if we find any land... Oh, it's Tron again. Alright, well that makes Tarmogoyf look pretty sad. Can we find the land at least? Okay. So we can Overgrown Tomb now that we have access to basic mountain. Relic could still be Eldrazi Tron. But Relic versus our double Goyf draw looks kind of bad. Nope, it's regular old Tron. They've got Mine, Power Plant. They don't have Tower. I guess I'm taking Payoff number 1. I could have taken the Star with the intention of Thought Seizing again, given that Tarmogoyf isn't going to be super relevant. But I still think taking Payoffs is probably fine. Doing this now? I guess they could find the Stirrings or something like that. Maybe just another 1-drop. I'll still deploy a Tarmogoyf, but it won't be very good. This hand would actually be quite good versus Tron if they didn't have the Relic. Bueller. Alright, now they're putting something up. Some Dino costs this to cast for each other spell cast this turn. Trample haste 7/7. Trample over planeswalkers? That's cool. It has hexproof as long as it entered the battlefield this turn. Interesting. Teamer prowess win. Yikes. So they found the Tron, but they don't yet have the payoff. I'm going to attack first. Maybe the opponent pops their Relic. And then maybe I have access to the card they've drawn off of it with the Thoughtseize. Alternatively, I could just play the Dark Confidant because I need to get some pressure going. Like maybe I just actually have to get lucky and hope they haven't found something. Unfortunately, that seems like my higher win rate play. Because like if I Thoughtseize here, if they have multiple things, I just die. And if they only have one thing and I take it, the odds they find another before the end of the game anyway are pretty high. And I think I need to find more relevant action. O-Stone is unfortunate. Yeah, I don't think it's an issue with you. I think it's an issue with the stream. I'm still dropping a good number of frames. I think I have to Tarmogoyf here because again I just like have to attack to try to win. If they minus with the Karn, we can bolt the Karn. Okay. We know of a mine. So, they played a Tron land we didn't know about. Found a land is nice. Definitely have to do this. I guess I could Kroxa first so they discard without the information. Yes, Flame Tongue Jr. That one's pretty cool. Alright, so yeah, let's cast Kroxa, and then bolt the Karn. Again, doing this first so they discard without the information that Karn's dying. So they've got mine in hand. Zap. I mean, if we can dodge the top of their library, I think we can come back, but we're going to have to get a little lucky. Maybe they just get a blast zone now to start creeping it up. Yep, makes sense to me. But then they played something else anyway. Strange, they played mine. Alright, well, we drew the land for Bloodbraid. So I guess it's time to Bloodbraid. Let's get a second green and more black. Blood Crypt. Sorry, Stomping Ground. No, green and black is Overgrown Tomb. So Overgrown Tomb. We want to hit more pressure here. That counts. That can have us ditching the Thoughtseize, which was already pretty dead. So they have Blast Zone in hand. Alright, we still need them to brick, but if they do, we might win. You gotta watch until the end, then go to sleep. Sleep is for the weak. Oh, they drew it. What is this? This is like a ballista for 6? Looks like it. Jeez. Well, if they take care of the Liliana immediately, we could stomp it. But they might just put Liliana to 1, which would be the smart thing, I think. I guess not. So stomping Ballista, they could just remove all of the counters to counter the Bone Crusher. We have Kroxa as a leftover. Either way, I think I'm attacking first, because if they want to block, I'll just escape the Kroxa. Yeah, I think they should have just put the Liliana to 1. I mean, they don't know that there's a difference between 2 and 3. Because Bone Crusher is not super common. Alright, so this will get countered. And then we're going to hope that we can dodge such that our Kroxa can get us across the finish line. You gotta work tomorrow? That's fair. Alright, well, they immediately did not brick. We immediately did brick. We're dead. Tron doing Tron things. Assemble the Tron, draw well. Alright, we want Ashiok. We want Pillage, we want Damping Sphere, and we want Cleansing Wildfire. And then we want out with all of the removal spells. Yep, Tron doing the Tron thing. Ooh, Cabal Coffers is going to be in Modern. That's interesting. So we've got turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Tarmogoyf, no hate piece. But we've also got a Liliana and Bone Crusher for additional reach. I think I'm keeping. This is a really good hand with no hate piece. It's possible I should mulligan more aggressively for a hate piece. But I feel like this hand is just too good. I'll get Overgrown Tomb. It makes Blackleaf Cliffs the best that it can be if we find it. So they've got 2 Tron lands, a Stirring, and a Scrying. They don't actually have a way to find colored mana. I think I'm just going to take the Sylvan Scrying. Spatial Contortion doesn't actually take care of the Tarmogoyf, right? Because we've got Sorcery, Land. There's going to be instant in the yard, so... Oh, they drew the map, of course. Tron. Well, we did draw the Blackleaf Cliffs. So now we need to find Damping Sphere, Pillage, or Cleansing Wildfire. Or else we just get Karned immediately. I don't want to tease a Tron player, but I really want to tease a Tron player. I think I've just got to punish the opponent by applying as much pressure as I possibly can. That would have me just playing Bone Crusher as a 4/3. I'm doing my best. So as long as they don't have, I guess, Tower into Ulamog next turn, maybe we're okay. We can attack for 8. Oh god, Ugin's gonna make it difficult. Lands are gonna make it difficult. I guess we can hope they don't hit a land. There's already instant in the yard, so bolting them now doesn't push any extra damage. And if I Liliana, that just gets swept by the Ugin as well. So when they -3 the Ugin, we still can't quite bolt it. So I think I've got to save the bolt for potentially going to face. We can still cross the finish line with just drawing like what is effectively burn spells, so things like Bloodbraid and just actual factual burn spells. Bloodbraid would be best case. There's a burn spell. So I can Liliana plus discard Tomb, hold up some bolts. Maybe we can distract them with the Liliana for a minute. So we have 2 bolts off of the top that are lethal. There he goes. Surgical. Okay. Can't say I agree with this opponent's decision making. They didn't want to just Karn here. I guess they're trying to Ulamog next turn. Sure. So they're going to start Stone Raiding me next turn, but Ulamog does that too. Yep. Can we draw one of our 2 remaining lightning bolts, please? Bloodbraid's also acceptable. Wildfire. I guess we hit a Tron land. Again, it's a 50-50. I'm going to leave a bunch of red available, because if this cantrips into the other bolt, we can still just kill them. Bolt, bolt, bolt. That's a land. The opponent's hand is Ulamog and something. I guess I'll play the land, bolt them, and just plus the Liliana. And then we're on bolt or bust. Maybe they accidentally bolt themselves with Ugin. Maybe. Doubt it. They can't Ulamog anymore. So now we've got some time. I guess they can Karn for something that costs 5 here. They can Stone Rain us with the Karn if they want to, but it doesn't look like it's going to be very effective. And then in terms of Ugin, there's going to be... They deal damage in increments of 3, so I'm going to not lose any more life than this one fetch. So, Bloodbraid with haste works. Sure. Sure. Bloodbraid with haste works, and just drawing a copy of Lightning Bolt works. I guess Kroxa could work too if they don't have just spells in hand. Come on, deck. Hiya. Well, they might have to spend a turn getting rid of that with Ugin. They have to minus with Ugin, right? Or else they have to get a needle to make sure that Liliana doesn't just ultimate. Our outs remain the same. I mean, them not bolting us for a turn means that we've got another window to draw bolt. We can no longer draw Bloodbraid because they've taken us off the requisite lands. So we need a bolt here. Bolt! We have 2 copies. Bolt! Nope. Bloodbraid's still not even online because they shock us to 1 and probably kill a land. We can't even get basic mountain now. They hit our last red source. Yep, so we're dead. That was our window. So it's looking like a 3 and 2, where our 2 are both Tron. In classic fashion. Watch, we're going to draw it now. GG. Well, not really GG, but... Alright, so... Caption of video will be Salty Jund player loses to Tron twice, but wins the other 3. Alright, so that's going to be it for this recording. I'm not going to do any wrap-up today. I feel like I've done... I've had this exact list for like 5 or 6 recordings now, and I think I've done a sufficient amount of deck teching / wrapping upping with this specific list. If I feel compelled to change anything in the near future, then I'll go more into what makes those decisions. But if you would like my thoughts on this specific list and how certain cards perform, I definitely go into depth on those topics on previous videos, which is a good reason to go check out my YouTube if you haven't already. So, thanks for watching, everyone, on the YouTube. I'm going to stay online for a little bit after I shut off the recording to talk with Twitch chat. But until next time, for those of you watching on YouTube, thanks for tuning in, and until next time, Jund them out.